Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design, the Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered, which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 380th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 13th, 2021. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be your host today. And of course we are joined with Mr. Mayran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who will be presenting today's workshop. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you ready to begin the 380th?
Yes, good morning, good day to you as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation around the globe. It is nice to be back, and it is nice to be able to share knowledge as we have done for 380 weeks non-stop. One of the interesting points for today is that for the first time we are back again on the road after a year and a half of lockdown, and you will have the same position, not from the studio, but from the what we call Keshe Foundation team around the world, what we call the studio in Linz, Rick in Canada, and wherever any of us might be. I would like to thank the Italian group in welcoming us last week into Rome, and we thank you for all your help, as it's been valuable, your work with us in Italy. It was interesting to be back home to the land and the city. You know, Rome has been a beautiful place for us, where we established a lot in Italy. And in that process, we will be traveling around the world more, and we hope to be back in Iran in the last week of June, where the Keshe Foundation will start setting up a new plasma center for space technology. We thank the Office of Eminence Harmony of Iran and the Sepah of Iran in supporting the development of new technology in line with what we promised. In a way, from June on, a new space center will be established. A space center in line with what we call the way the universe works, through the plasma technology, through understanding of the interaction of the fields, and through direction and dimensions of the new understanding of the knowledge. This technology, as we have agreed with the Iranians, will be shared across the planet on equal measures. This time will be the cradle of new knowledge, but not kept to be advantage to the others or one nation, one race. I thank those who support us and work hard, especially the team in Tehran, the offices of Iran National Defense University, who are supporting us with the computer people in the background, heavily writing all the programs to be ready for such a launch. The beginning of what we promised you, Cebu, will start. The place and the position for the Keshe Foundation in Tehran is already more or less fixed, and we'll announce a new space center based on the structure of the plasma technology in Tehran very soon. In a way, Tehran is a position, and we don't look at it as a nation. We don't look at it as a place that want to be the others. We become equal in knowledge and science and technology. In so many ways, the whole structure of the knowledge will change. We will work, and as I said to the Iranian officials, we endeavor to put man into space within 12 months from my return to Tehran. In a way, with a new technology. We see landing on Mars in few hours and return. We endeavored, and we have already approached the Chinese officials for a joint collaboration of Cebu as part of the organization. In coming time, we do the same with the Americans and the rest. The knowledge has to be free, and by releasing such a vast amount of knowledge, the scientists will be too busy to find new direction and dimensions that will push us away from the present time of aggression and wars. In so many ways, we have a lot of plans, and what we say in Iran will be done. We set examples. We set the systems to overcome Corona. We set systems to clean up Tehran from what we call the pollution. These are the very first tasks we have on our hand. At the same time, in conjunction with Iran space technology, we launch the first what we call flight systems in public. This is important for all of us to change dimension and direction for all of us in the coming time. I especially thank the team in Austria who relentlessly pushing with the new research and development, and many other places which is ongoing and onmoving. We have entered a new era. We entered a new era of delivery of the technology. I thank the team in China who are relentlessly working to establish and start the process of one of the largest factories for Keshe Foundation of 17,000 square meters in the heart of Chinese, where the Silk Road started. They have worked relentlessly. I thank Wang Lin and the same for all her hard work, and the Keshe Foundation team in Guangzhou and Hunan that they've done, and in Wuhan cities, work to change things for many of us. We see the emergence of the Keshe Foundation through Mexico, where the Mexico factory has come and is coming online this week, hopefully. In so many ways, collectively, we have started working. The offices and the research centers in Tehran will become the what we call springboard for many other nations to start the process and the development. The Keshe Foundation knowledge and technology belongs to all of us. We go back when we open the factory in Italy, as we will push further on with our work around the world. We will open factories most probably in Romania or most probably in one of the Eastern nations, East European nations, to bring more work and prosperity through the Keshe Foundation in coming weeks. We'll announce the same. As has been announced, 20th of July, Keshe Foundation will hold one of its largest scientific conferences in Romania, in the city of Bucharest. I've been there years ago, and we go back. We gave a conference there 4 or 5 years ago with Giovanni, and we're going back to extend the support for the knowledge seekers in Romania, as there are many of them. We welcome back the Russian team of the Keshe Foundation. We hope we'll have a conference soon in Moscow, anywhere they decide. Keshe Foundation has no limit, no borders. We share knowledge according to what we learn and the support we get. In so many ways, we have entered a new cycle. And upon my return to Tehran in the back end of June, in July, we'll push directly into bringing the knowledge and technology from Tehran across the planet. New systems, new directions will be set. And we do not look for any other way but sharing new technologies that makes the present science of space and technology and rocket technology obsolete. In so many ways, from now on, is in the hand of the knowledge seekers. I have endeavored to do everything possible to bring the Keshe Foundation into the line as we wanted, as we've seen, and now we have reached that point. In the past few weeks, we tried to teach you more about the science of man, about the science of the operation of the body of the man. In so many ways, yesterday, in a way, jumping into Rick's workshop, we tried to open new doors, new understanding, and in so many ways, try to explain new dimensions. One of the most important things which we'll teach in the coming time will be how you can elevate your soul in a way, in the dimension of physicality, to be able to surpass the dimension of the physical observation. In a way to be seen as a light. As I explained in the yesterday teaching with Rick, is that we've seen the time and the place where we saw and we know that the kings and those who used the tablet like a cyanide to end their lives. If we understand the position, can I be able, oh, I've got it, thank you. In a way that we know the brain of the man, if we look at it on its side way. I'm not a very good artist because I will learn more than me. The shape of the brain of the man sits in a very peculiar position. And this position is made deliberately. That when you breathe air or you drink water, the water passes. And in that position, the best, highest value field strength from the air and atmosphere is directly transferred to the soul of the man. What this means is that the best is taken in directly. The position of the mouth, the position of the nose, in every shape or form is pre-planned by the soul of the man for his own use. and nothing else. By consuming the material side of the what we call structure of this planet, we absorb some energy in the stomach of the man. And these energies again gradually added to elevate the soul, that in one point, soul can free itself and at the point of death to be able to become out of its cage. What we've been teaching and what we've been extending your knowledge has been how to elevate this point as a point of need. In a coming time, in a very short time, upon my return to Tehran and teaching of the new space technologies, we will introduce a new science where, using what has already been organized by the man in the time when he used to take the cyanide to kill himself or end the life in the mouth, now we use the same passage. We use the same position by transferring a specific way of energy that rapidly we can expand the energy of the soul without creating death, that the soul of the man takes over the physicality, where man has control of the position of this energy. And in that process, man will be able to allow the soul of the man, the strength of the soul of the man in going through the physicality direction to repair, to feed, to transmute and to transport. In a way, we allow the soul of the man to shine over the existence of the body of the man in a physical dimension. This technology has been brought into teaching some 7 years ago, specifically in 2 teachings. I refer to this. And now we can open the book. In a way, as you carry in the dimension of the physicality, the whole game changes. The change of the game is that the soul of the man stays in charge and the physicality of the man becomes engaged in. You still now have the brain facility and the brain work as you had in the skull of the man, which we are used to. But now the work works inside out, which means now the same system as the brain of the man works, but in the dimension of the plasma. And this dimension of the plasma creates a new condition, where up to now the soul decided for the physicality. Now the physicality, you being in charge and you still being in position of the structure of the brain inside, you can decide, I want to stay hidden. I want to be whatever. In a way, the brain of the fields inside and the fields which are sitting around the plasmatic brain outside create a new condition where physicality in the dimension we have will decide the manifestation of the soul to outside, where diseases don't exist, where man shall never die, where the knowledge of the universe will be brought to man and not the knowledge of the man which is learned in the physical dimension. The process to teach you this conversion has taken a long time. This will be the gift to those who understand the world of the peace and conversion to mankind. I will release this knowledge in Iran, the land of Mitra, where the whole thing started for humanity. In a way, you don't need to wait to die to free that soul. In a way, with the understanding and the memory you have and the knowledge you carry in the dimension of physicality, you can dictate the condition that when you want to have the soul of the physicality shall not die, will carry the information. And in that process, you decide, when I manifest myself at another position with the dimension of the soul, would I allow, in trusting the soul to go back to its position where the physicality of the position and time might not be the shape of the man. In a way, the point of transportation and transmutation of the fields will dictate the dimension of the life in space. In so many ways, many knowledge seekers will be given the chance to go through the process. You took ganses to change corona. You took ganses to change cancer within your body. You took ganses on the skin of the man to relieve pain. Now, in a specific condition and combination of the ganses will allow the man to be able to elevate energies at the level and the strength of the soul of the man, where in transmutation will be delivered. Do not forget, the most important part of the physical body of the man is exactly where the back of your throat sits. The air of the planet, the matter of the planet, and the liquid of the planet have to pass this point to go into the dimension of physicality of the man. And cleverly, the soul of the man has positioned itself in this domain. The shortest space, the highest value, maximum of anything which enters the body of the man, the soul shall take. Now, we use the same knowledge and the same technology to achieve this through the development of the new science of the GANs at the level of the soul. Is not bigger than a tablet. And those who elevate can change that into the dimension of the magnetic field strength of the soul of the man. There are no tablets in the universe. Understanding how to mix and create a condition of the fields of the environment and the inertia of the masses of the environment should give this knowledge to man to be able to do this at any point in the universe. In so many ways, the teaching enters a new era of understanding the work of the universe, where you can switch the soul to physicality, and in the memory and understanding of the internal brain of the man, or what we call the soul of physicality, to be able to play between the two souls. Then the interaction of the two decides if you manifest as a field and a plasma, or you manifest as an entity. What we call the transmutation of the fields of the universe. In this process, as we said in the teaching in the past few weeks, is very simple. A mother giving birth will be able to transmute the soul of the child outside. And in that process, in transmutation of the soul, the child will take the shape of its physicality according to the wishes of the creators of it, which is the father and the mother. In a way, we create dimensions of creation from the soul of the two. And then the soul decides in its manifestation in any dominion in the universe. This will be a perfect child. This is how life is given in the universe. We don't have delivery rooms and hospitals and all the rigmarole that the man has made for a physical delivery of a child. But there is one secret in this. Once the child is created by this, the two stands forever. In this process, man will more or less can create only one child. In that process is the satisfaction of the souls. Adultery becomes impossibility, and prostitution will never exist. This process of giving child will be taught rapidly in the coming months. This is the way we'll create the perfect man, where the soul is perfect. The creation of the soul of the man will lead to the creation of the original soul. Many of you looked for twin souls. Now you understand. When a woman of mankind gives birth in the space, shall not be as of today, as we need delivery rooms and a pain through the passage of the birth tunnel. The root and the basis for this was set, and many times I explained in the enhancement center. The process, the way you go to training how to give birth, will train how to transmute the soul of the child in the dimension of the atmospheric condition where it might be, that it can survive. The beauty with this is, as the man has now the ability to transmute the soul outside, the child will be born with the knowledge of the universe and not only the knowledge of man. This is how man will become equal to the rest. In so many ways, mankind will move in one go from the physical dimension to the dimension of existence in all dominions. When a child conceived in this way, there is no and shall never be breakage between the two. Those who try to break this will pay with their soul, as interacting with the souls which are set to look after the child will be for the life of the child, for the life of eternity in the universe. The new process and the new understanding is what will come with our teachings in Tehran. We return back to the land of Mitra, where the original birth was conceived, but this time in the level of what we call the soul of the creation and the creator. In so many ways, we complete the knowledge of the man and the existence of the man on this planet. I am the creator and my knowledge is free. It's for mankind to understand the totality of the knowledge. In so many ways, in the coming weeks, we teach you how to be able to live in both dimensions. to be able to survive the span of universe, to be able to have an option to travel with a donkey, or by foot, or by jumbo jets, or by your UFOs, or in the dimension of the soul. Understanding the knowledge of the universe from now on does not need schools, universities, and professorships, or a layman on the street. We still teach in this dimension. I tried to teach these to Moses, and he walked away with the greed of the man. I brought the vessel of knowledge to Christ, and beauty of a woman was more important to him than the gift we gave. Now this time we deliver ourselves. In so many ways, the man should become the Son of God, the sun to shine. Every man has the capability to be his son, to shine independently according to what they deliver in the dimension of the soul. This is what the position of the universal councils will be, in the same position. As I said many times, you will know the members of the universal council by the light they shine, but not what they show in physicality. Now you understand why. Because the elevation of their souls will surpass the dimension of their physicality, even though you might see them in the dimension of physical entity, as you wish, and the strength of your observation. In so many ways, we open a new knowledge to mankind. We open the knowledge of the creation and the knowledge of the created with one simple process. It is somehow incredible how mankind have not understood this. When you do what we call the fast breathing through your nose or your mouth, you see yourself in changing the blood circulation and more energy to elevate, and you enter a dimension. When you inhale drugs or amphetamines in one way or another, you transfer that energy very fast, but you cannot hold on to, as the physicality pulls on it. This is why in the past few weeks I deliberately took you to show you what we call the hormones, what we call the drugs we looked at. Now the problem with many of the knowledge seekers will be how to pass the barrier of the hormones which he created to create manifestation of physicality, by reversing the feed to be able to ignite the hormones of the soul of the man that leads and ignites to the creation of the soul of the man to overtake the physicality. Now you understand how the teachings are so much connected. In so many ways, you call it hormones. We call it the package of energies can ignite. The hormone ignites the creation of the cells in every part of your body. The hormones, what we call on the soul side, is what ignites for the soul to expand, and to what extent you want to expand, and the process the same. On this side of the physicality, we lead to the creation and manifestation of the cell, the lung, and everything else we control. On the other side, on the dimension of the soul, the hormones is the creator to trigger to what extent you want the soul to expand itself, to the dimension of other universes, to the creator, or to the dimension of the physicality of the man, or the planet. Then now you understand how we are trying in a very soft way to change the dimension of the understanding and the knowledge of the man into understanding the totality of the creation and the created. You want to suffer in a dimension of physicality, you're quite welcome. You've been battling with it for thousands of years. If Moses would have not destroyed the totality of the messages, man would have been on this path thousands of years ago. Mita took the presence of absence for the love of Creator, and now she's back. And the knowledge will carry on through her blood and the understanding of her creation. This time the knowledge is complete. And we make sure that there is no discrepancies and there is no missed messages. She's amongst us, and we respect and salute you. The knowledge to be able to travel the spans of the universe is now at the reach of the man. But man has to learn to wipe out the killing, the destruction habits, which will be carried in the way in the center of this thing when it moves. We cannot change into the dimension of physicality in another position where the knowledge and the memories of destruction and killing exist within the brain of the man, within the soul of the physicality of the man. With one word, we can change everything. But man will go back to his old habits. It's the man who has to change. In so many ways, in creating the physicality and then the dimension of the soul with all weaknesses, we create the soul first with perfection and then add physicality to it. In so many ways, mankind will not be able to do wrong, as the soul will create a perfect life within its structure of its existence first, before releasing the physicality in the dimension of a child, where the soul will change position, but both from the beginning are aware of the existence of both and in harmony. One doesn't become a prisoner of the other, and the mankind will have an understanding of the totality. In so many ways, I can stop teaching today. If you understood this, now you have to understand how from now on to translate the knowledge of the universe into understanding of the man dimension of physicality. In so many ways, we now understand what all this teaching has been about. How we started and where we'll finish. And the main point of concern for man is what to do with now receiving so much knowledge from the universal understanding into a little brain of the man, which is in there but has no physical dimension. The beauty of this cycle is amazing if you understand it. In a way, when mankind comes to this new point, both the brain of the physicality and the brain of the soul, or the center control, is exactly the same, made of plasma. Does not matter wherever you travel in the universe, the shape of the physicality will come on the interaction of the fields of the soul of the man's physical dimension to manifest whatever shape that entity could be. But this gives you a beautiful condition and understanding. If you understand this, will bring you to a new dimension. Listen very carefully in how I chose the word. Plasma. Interaction of the plasma of the soul of physicality of the man and the soul of the man will give you the gravity and a magnetical field to travel this entity to anywhere in position in the universe. This is how man will travel the dimensions and dominions of the Creator. In fact, I'll take you back to book number 1. I told you very simple that all the knowledge man needs to understand is in the 3 books. And now you understand. Isn't it this what you saw and you read in the first chapters of the book? 2 plasmatic systems interacting. Isn't it this what you are doing in the dimension of dynamic reactors and mixing gases and layering? Now that you understand how you can transfer the soul of physicality and the physicality of the man by expanding the soul of the man, now you understand book number 1. I am the Creator, and I know how to teach my children. And I think mankind has reached the point of maturity to understand this point of creation. In so many ways, when we taught you the 5 cups, the reason for it was to bring you to this point. For you to understand where to place the soul, where to place the soul of physicality, where to place the physicality, where to understand that these manifestations, interactions with the inertia of the fields of the point of manifestation and the bigger brother, which is the gravitational fields of the point, but behind it sits the field forces of the Creator. This mankind has not been taught yet, and it's too soon. You have another cup which will sit somewhere here, which is the dominion and the dimension of what we call hell. Moving away from the knowledge of the Creator is the true hell. The way man has been in doldrum and suffered for thousands of years. and understanding the knowledge, man will move to understand more and find peace and tranquility and understand the totality of the knowledge of the creation. This is the heaven. Nothing else and nothing more. In so many ways, now you understand what and how we have created the knowledge in 3 books. There is one secret, and I tell you this from now. Anyone breaks this law, the soul shall not exist, and any offsprings will go the same. We have kept to this, and we shall keep to this, because this is a cornerstone of perfect life in the universe. Once you create the child through the soul, the physicality has no control and cannot do wrong. So be wise in what you choose and how you create your next generations. Through the dimension of physicality of the present, and suffer for everlasting with the life of the physical dimension, or create the children through the interaction of the soul, that they live a perfect life and change the course of humanity. It's your free choice. In so many ways, mankind now has been allowed to understand the totality of the knowledge of the creation. Understanding the operation, translation, and transportation, comprehension and transmutation of the fields of the universe in the dimension of the soul of the man is what is to come in the teachings and our work in Tehran. We become the center of what we call true science of the creation and the theology of the understanding. The center of knowledge. Soon we close Vatican, and soon Jerusalem will not be what it was, as we move the center of the knowledge and the creator to Tehran. In so many ways, mankind needs to go back to the origin of his point of spreading this planet. And in so many ways, mankind has to understand from this point on, becoming the soul and the strength of the soul, this expansion of the souls across this planet, 7 billion plus of them at any time, at this moment of time, it's very much what we wanted. In a way, if you understand, to Tehran, 7 beautiful souls who they will learn the knowledge of the creation. They all interconnect, and with it, covering the whole span of what we call the spherical shape of this planet, they will change the soul of the planet and the soul of every living things on this planet. In a way, you were looking for satellites to change the man. We use the elevation of the soul of the man as satellites to change the totality of the man, the totality of the life on this planet. Now you understand why we have been encouraging you in every shape or form in past years to spread, to consume, and gradually use gases. In so many ways, the gases are connected to you in the water systems and in the air you breathe, and you have become the center of these. From the heights of Himalaya to the depths of the ocean, we create that dimension and the strength we were looking for to bring the change we wanted to. Now we only need a few souls to be elevated to the position of understanding only this. Then we can achieve this. We do not rely on computers, and we do not rely on man-made satellites. We made our computers within the brain of the man, which has the capability to carry the knowledge of the universe, which now that you understand is the interaction of what you saw, the soul of physicality and the soul of the man created the brain of the man. Now the reverse has created the brain of the soul of the man, which has knowledge and access to totality of the knowledge of the universe. Conversion in the diversion and understanding the totality of the knowledge. Now the soul of the man will become the shining star in the dimension of physicality. In so many ways, I try to explain to you in a simple way. My book and my knowledge has not changed. It's not a coronavirus that is different in England, or the Chinese version, or the Indian version, or whatever. There's one version in that book. You understand it according to your intelligence and the comprehension of totality. Now read the book number 1 again with the knowledge I taught you today, and see the lines and the words are the same, but the comprehension has changed and looks and understand totally different from the same words and the same lines as the same pictures. We know how to write in the pen of the man, but we write in the pen of the soul of the man and the soul of the universe. We still keep busy building systems, trying to see how much of the knowledge of the universe which has come to man can be changed to the knowledge in the dimension of physicality. With one breath, I can change every molecule on this planet to gold. And with one breath, to hydrogen. If we had the knowledge to create all this universe, dust of the earth is nothing to change. As I said many times, we came here for only one reason, and only one reason, for the love of Mitra. From now on, mankind cannot make a mistake, as the soul of the man has no limitation of life and shall never make mistake, as in the field of plasma has access to all to be creating the perfect life. Humanity has entered a new dimension of knowledge and science, and in it there is no technology. As I said in the teaching of yesterday, when you bring a knowledge into the dimension of physicality, it becomes a technology. And in the universe, there is no technology except understanding the work of the fields of the universe. When you have a technology, it means you have entered the dimension of physicality. Then the universe is oyster for those who like to play with toys. In so many ways, one should understand that the knowledge of the creation has always been with a man. It's man who has to decide the point of change, the point of elevation, the point of living a life to suffer in the dimension of physicality, that one day at an old age the soul will be able to break out when the cages of the physical soul cannot hold, or the man understands the totality and takes the step himself. The answers to give the man the change to be able to reach this point is in the palm of my hand. It's for you to understand. You can eat, drink, and breathe forever on this planet and never reach the point of the control and elevation of the soul. Or with one word, you'll be educated to the knowledge of the universe. And that trigger point, that hormone point, sits between the two hormones, the border lines between the dimension of the physicality and the soul of the man. It's very much like a double door. You're standing on which side and who is prepared to turn the key. And when you turn the key, is the other door key has been turned, that the both can become one with no barriers. This is what we have offered you with the knowledge of today. No barriers between the soul of physicality of the man and the soul of the man, access to the dimension of physical life, or access to the dimension of the universe and understanding of the totality. One of the prerequisites to this is the establishment of the peace on this planet agreed by all its citizens. End of kingship, as there is no king but the Creator. Laying down of all crowns and positions by man. becoming subordinate to the soul of the man who is the essence of the soul of the Creator. The leadership has come from interaction of the soul of physicality and the soul of the man, where both are aware of the perfect life in the dimension of physical or the fields of the universe. There is no need for the messengers, but my knowledge is the light and is seen by the soul. In so many ways, mankind has to reach this point, abandoning killing. End of totality of one man being higher than the other, as the soul of the man is the same in all dominions. End of kingship. End of one thinking is higher than the other, as we are all equal in the dimension of creation. Mankind can reach this with a stroke of pen by his own will, or will suffer thousands of years till it reaches the point we set out today. Let's see which religious leader will put his turbine and hat down, and see which kings will put his crown down and become ordinary man on the streets of the planet. It's them who are stopping you reaching the elevation of your soul. And it's you who's allowing them to think they're higher than you. Elevate their soul, the soul of physicality, that their soul surpasses their physical dimension, and understand the truth about the creation. In so many ways, we have taught you everything you need to know and to understand. Now is for you to be able to reach a point that you can allow your soul to become the dominion, that it has knowledge and access of the whole of the knowledge of the universe. In so many ways, when the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man become one system, then in that process, they will react as a new plasma with the plasma of the soul of the Creator. And now you understand how man's system works in respect to the Creator. This is why we always taught you, even in the last week teaching, in the levels of interaction. Now you become center where the soul of the Creator shines upon. And in that process, sometimes you radiate and you manifest, and sometimes you pull and you become part of the creation and the Creator. This process has never been understood by the man. This is why in all the orders we gave, we said, "Thou shalt not steal," in which form and whatever, because when you become part of the soul of the Creator, you cannot steal. As what you steal does not become part of, but become away from. And this is the reason why we push the man not to steal another soul's life by killing, but leaving to the will of the man. Mankind has to understand the totality of the elevation of his soul. The choice is very simple. Live in the dimension of the physicality and destroy and stay and worry about the fountain of youth. How long more can I live? If you understand this, you can live forever. Now choose. Now decide. Now move into the dimension and the position and the dominion as you wish. We have taken the barriers down. It's you who has put these barriers up according to your intelligence, comprehension, and your prejudices. The soul of the man is free. This man who has engaged himself and engaged himself in the physicality of life on this planet. You see how simple has become now that you understood? Past few weeks and past few months and past few years teaching. Now we understand what we could not explain for thousands of years to man. Common man on the streets understand the knowledge and the language of the Creator in one stroke. You don't need to be a professor or a king. I hope I have managed to bring a new understanding, to bring the totality of the truth to those knowledge seekers who understand and open to understand the levels of transmutation and transportation of the fields, and with it, the understanding of the process of creation and the Creator, and manifestation in any dimension and dominion in the universe. If you like to go on a commercial break, and then we come back and we answer any questions.
welcome back to the 380th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here today. Mr. Keshe, are you ready to continue and take some questions?
Ready, willing, and able, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed. We have two hands up here already, and allow them to speak. We have Ike first, and R. Thomas after that.
Before we start this session, let me explain to you. The work of the elevation of the soul and the physicality of the man in a larger scale has been carried out by the Iranian Keshe Foundation team, as we said, in an orphanage of mentally handicapped people last March, when we started the process of supporting for Corona. Maybe by next week, we will have the first video from this orphanage, when the Keshe Foundation team with the officials from the Iranian leadership and those of the Sepah will go to visit the center and to show how, in a very soft way, we have managed to change, maybe in the dimension of physicality manifestation, the soul of 100 children. This is one of the most, what I call, comprehensive tests of the technology. And from this week, the Keshe Foundation team changes in the dimension of the elevating the soul more directly, and will observe the change of these children in the next 6 and 12 months. How those in the dimension of physicality we abandoned, and those who love and care the physicality and the soul of the man looked after it. And now we see the process of change for them. And we'll see how the next step, as I explained today, will come to show itself, and how we can elevate the soul of the man in a very simple ways, but man had to understand the process. Next week, hopefully, when the Iranian Keshe Foundation team goes to this mentally handicapped orphanage with 100 children, the people, the carers, will explain to us how the children have changed in 1 year collectively. This is one of the most important tests for all of us, because not only we change the behavior, we change the physicality, we change the growth, we change the intelligence. And we see how the soul of the man has changed. In so many ways, 100 children, as we call them, mentally, physically handicapped with a perfect soul, we allow the soul to bring the body to perfection, according to the test and the time of the soul. This is a beautiful time as we reach the point of maturity. As I said before, upon my return to Tehran in the next few weeks, going to this orphanage and changing the soul of the 100 children to a perfect child will be one of my first goals. If we can change 100 children of man, we can change 7 billion men. The Keshe Foundation team, even with the videos we received from them this morning, have prepared and are ready to go there. Today is the Eid. We congratulate and welcome. We give you our best wishes for Eid al-Fitr for all the Muslims across the planet as you celebrate today the end of Ramadan. And in that process, we bring a new dimension, not to show me one, not to show me two. Did it work? Did it not work? We show you 100 children of man. And we collectively observe the changes in coming years, where through the new technology, we elevate their souls, and we see the change of physicality, where a man, a child of a man, is kept in a cut of 1 meter, maybe by 1.5 meters, most of his life. He'll be free from this cage. He'll be free to understand and become knowledgeable. This is where we'll follow these 100 lives in the coming years to show the beauty of the technology. And we'll make scientists, and we make engineers out of them in the coming time and years. We put them in universities to become the doctors of the man, and we teach them the knowledge of the universe as we teach them through the soul. As I said, we thank the Keshe Foundation team in Tehran, especially the group which has been working relentlessly with this orphanage to keep them, supply them unconditionally for past 12 months, 13 months. And they're ready to go there on Monday with the representative of the Iranian leadership, His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran office, to see what change is about to come. We show by example and not by talk. And I hope many of us will join us next week if the video is ready, or the week after, and it'll be put on the channels of the Keshe Foundation TV for man to see the changes to come and to hear how softly, gently we're changing the course of the man. I thank those who have been working in the background, and I thank the officers of Iran who are there to see the beauty which is about to come from the knowledge across this planet, which man will have no handicapped children, as the man will create the soul of the child in the perfection of the time and the place. There shall be no genetic defects, as the genes of the man in the dimension of the soul of the man is perfect. And this wish and the will of the parents of the creation, theirs, will be perfect to the eye of every man in all dominions. Go ahead, please.
I'll just let me mention first that coincidentally, in the testimonials meeting on Monday, we had a testimonial from a woman that was suffering for over 20 years with mental and emotional problems, and she had an emotionally challenged offspring as well. And she started the 1 Cup 1 Life and said that within 3 days of using the GANS water from the 1 Cup 1 Life, her symptoms virtually disappeared, and that of her son as well. So that was quite amazing, and it's a good coincidence with what you spoke of there, Mr. Keshe. Congratulations on that end. Okay, let's carry on here.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. Appreciate your teachings. I have 2 questions. First one of the diagrams you have the man, the woman, and in the box, and then in the soul child. You said mankind cannot make a mistake, and you said if you try to break the bond between man, woman, and the soul child, one will pay dearly. But then you said again, once you create a soul, the physicality has no presence. Then my question is, how then are we able to break that bond if we can't make a mistake?
I think you're crossing lines in different ways. When a child is created not by the physicality, but through the soul, in a dimension of the womb of the mother, will then have a dimension and a dominion that its physicality will be decided by the wish of the creators and by the soul of the created. Which means the wish of the creator, the parents are there to guide, but the soul dictates its maturity, the path of its maturity. This, what it means is mankind will learn from now on to create not from the egg and the sperm, but to create from the soul first. It's a totally different. Now you have the egg and the sperm coming together, and the mixture of it creates the soul. Now you do not need that physical dimension. You create the soul of the child first, and then it leads to the dimension of physicality. The woman will go still through the same process of pregnancy as we see in the physical dimension of the man. It's time for the soul to mature, to absorb all the knowledge of the universe. As its capacity increases, that it can hold on to, in a way you increase the memory bank, absorbing all the fields of the universe. And then is for the woman and the man to create a condition outside the womb of the mother to allow the soul to nourish and nurture outside and inside. In a way, it's a practice class. And then when it comes to the point of the maturity of the physicality, the soul of the man will represent itself first. And then the physicality which is matured inside will follow. This is what the whole teaching today was about. And then we'll see the manifestation. The birth through the birth tunnel will finish. The birth tunnel is a collection of the love of the mother and the father that delivers that child to the dimension of the physicality. Man in a space would not create physical child, but will create the soul of the child. And that soul needs nourishing as long as it exists.
Okay. Thank you. Second question.
You're welcome. And then you have to understand, as it's connected to all the fields, there cannot be an adultery. There cannot be a breakage of. Because if you look at it, it's like the electron and the proton with the interaction field with two souls. They are linked to one to nourish. Creating multiple children becomes one of the rare occasions, and that will happen in a very seldom cases. That is a different position. So there is no one from outside can interact to create a condition for the physicality of the creator, the mother or father, to be attracted to. So adultery becomes unheard of. This is how it is in the universe. In a way, in a way, the understanding is very simple. On the creation of the bond of the soul of the child, the twin souls locks in. And then the physicality takes place. In so many ways, that's what there has been a mystery in twin souls for humanity. Carry on.
That leads to my question, my second question. So there can only be one soul child.
In a way, bringing up one soul child takes a lifetime of the two souls to create perfection. It's a flower that it needs attending to day and night. In a way, you've seen the birds. They have one chick in the nest, and forever they fly the two to nourish that. And that's how it becomes the work of the soul of the man. Nourishing a perfect soul takes a soul's lifetime.
Now, what did you say about the multiple children? It becomes a rare occasion.
There is a lot of understanding. it needs dedication and acceptance by the soul which is created. It's very rare.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You don't see what we see now in Palestine, Jews with 20 children and the Palestinians with 20 to see who can produce more. It's not running of a universe, it's unifying a universe, and it has to come from true love and understanding. This is the only way the soul of mankind will interact with the soul of the other creatures of the universe to create the next generation of universal community. In the dimension of physicality, you cannot do. The acidity, the alkalineness, the composition of the materials of the tool does not match. But in the level of the soul of the man and the soul of the creation and the created, it's all the same fields. We don't have the soul fields of the man from earth, even he has the track of the amino acid which led to his creation, but in totality he's interacting with the total fields of the universal community. And you can always find in matching fields that the interaction can lead to creation. Any other question?
Yes, we have R. Thomas next.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. This is Thomas from Switzerland.
Good morning. I cannot hear you.
Hello?
Can you speak a bit louder or come closer to the microphone?
Yes, I try. Is it better now?
A little bit?
A little bit?
Yep.
Uh,
I think you need that Swiss chocolate which comes from Ghana.
Mr. Keshe, what beautiful news about these children, these handicapped children. This will be very, very interesting to be able to follow their path. This is absolutely fantastic. Mr. Keshe, beside that, I have a little question. Yesterday I came across an interview somebody did with a certain Mr. The name just Rand, I think his name was Rand, and he was talking about med beds. Is that something you heard of, and you could expand what this?
Yes. Medbed is nothing to do with the Keshe Foundation work. These are medical beds, and we were talking to the head of the Keshe Foundation a few days ago. They come from what you call these sci-fi movies, and now it's become a term. The Keshe Foundation technology is a plasma technology. And medbed, in a way, has no meaning for us, even though we create the condition of it with the chairs inside and the new systems, which the Keshe Foundation will launch very soon. Medbed is a medical bed, and we run a plasma technology. It's a plasma systems, and it's there to enhance the physicality and the soul of the man. Yes, it's come because I was talking about this with the knowledge seekers very recently, and it's a sci-fi name which has now come into the language.
I was wondering, because this man at some point he mentioned the connection to plasma fields, and that's where I started to my ears.
Yes, the thing is, a lot of people now look at the Keshe Foundation enhancement units. We talk about the plasma, and they're connecting one to another. We are aware of this, but we keep the enhancement unit because we're enhancing. It's not a medical system, it's an enhancement unit. Keshe Foundation, most probably in the next 4 or 5 weeks, will show you the latest systems which we have developed, and will start distribution in hopefully the latest July, that the new systems goes operation worldwide. The enhancement units are too big and expensive for individual organizations to carry. We have extended the knowledge and technology to a new, more compact system that it can be placed in what we call surgeries by doctors. And it has the versions of it which will be disclosed at the time. The first structure units are shipped out of China, I think the next week, I was told. And we will rapidly deliver these first from Iran. As we said, all the technologies we show on the Age of Science, they'll be displayed in Iran first, and from there across the world. And this will increase the capability and reduction in time, and increase the number of people who can use it. We have increased what we call the power of the systems. In a way, we have enhanced their technology, and hopefully by around end of June, the first units will be in public for use. And by July, we can get it sorted very much faster. The enhancement units will be used for enhancement centers, or the doctors who want to use it in the hospitals. The new versions will be available in a way, as you saw in the vertical system we showed. The vertical system now is taking shape into not only the vertical system, but in the future development into what you call transportation and transmutation. We are working on that, and we have achieved a lot of things where, in a way, we can, we endeavor to, for example, to transmute from, let's say, our lab in Linz to our lab in Tehran. And the aircraft industry and the transportation of today becomes obsolete. We are very much near to it. Some preliminary test has already started in the labs, where we're trying to see the effect of the fields and change of what we call the color of the gases, and then transmutation of the gases. It's a process of our research people learning, and then we go through that process. But you got to understand that knowledge seekers have to understand the knowledge, otherwise it becomes do this, do that, and nothing understood. The new enhancement unit, which is being released, it's very much different than the original enhancement vertical unit we showed. Will give that condition that by developing it further, we are bringing in transmutation and transportation of the man from one position to another. In a way, you don't need to be in, let's say, Zurich, and you want to go to Tehran, is milliseconds. We have completed this knowledge. Now we're in a test process.
Wonderful.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And we have Ginger up next with the microphone open there and a hand up. Go ahead, Ginger.
Good morning. Good morning here. It's about 3:49.
Where are you, please? Could you explain to us who you are,
yes,
where
sir.
you're calling from?
Yes, I'm originally from, I moved from Texas here to Ecuador. So I'm in Chalobamba, Ecuador.
Yep. Nice to hear from you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for, it's so overwhelming and such joy to be able to come alongside as a knowledge seeker. And meanwhile, dear sir, how do we protect ourselves and our beloveds and our little pets from intentional ill will, harmful dark forces, entities, energies here on Earth, and then shifting into outer space and the other dimensions?
The dark entities and forces only exist in your brain. In the universal community, we don't have a wrong intention. It does not exist. In a way, you are open to the forces of the balanced forces of the universe. And, speaking about dark forces is what man has created to put fear amongst the man. You have to understand why. What's the reason such a field has been accepted by the soul or by the entity? Nobody puts a gun on the head of a dog to change, unless you have reached the soul of it, and the dog understands this is how he has to be. These terminologies is created by man to control man.
Meanwhile, there's bombs going off and starvation, and I'm having a very difficult time because my emotions are hemorrhaging pain and suffering for the reality. My reality is, is observing.
Yes, we are observing. This has been the part of the habit of the man for centuries. And it takes time to change. If we change it, it goes back on again. I was talking to one of our, what we call, Iranian knowledge seekers and people highly influential in Iran in past 24 hours. I was analyzing the situation, what we see in Palestine, in Gaza Strip today.
Yes.
Where they are shooting and killing. But you have to see exactly every 7 to 10 years, Israelis start the same thing. Because people don't understand the structure behind it. Every 7 years, every 10 years, Israelis go bomb this place, locked up prison. And then, do you know why? It is if you have all the cutlery and crockeries and all the food in the house, you don't need to go and buy new crockery and cutlery, do you? Israelis control Gaza Strip. And the Arabs, Palestinians, who have many families and they have extended their life outside Palestine, work outside, send money inside to build these houses, to build these homes. And the Israelis, every 7-10 years, flatten these places to create billions of dollars for the Israelis, because they're the only people who can supply the concrete, the wiring, the plugs, and everything else. This is a disastrous condition that exists because of locked up prisons. And they always use a celebration by the Israelis go into the churches, to the mosques, and create and they provoke, and then they say they did, so we do. Go back 7 years ago, go back 7 years before that. We have seen this on a regular cycle. Israelis destroying for the Arabs who brought money in to spend more, to put wealth in the pocket of the cursed life they have created for these people.
And I share your suffering. I so share your suffering. But still, it's our reality.
We have to change the soul of children of Moses.
Meanwhile,
half of the world problem will be solved. He stole, he killed, and his blood is doing the same still after thousands of years. I come from that blood. But I have a mixture of blood of Muhammad in me. And I work with the Palestinians. I tried to convince the Israelis for years to stop this. The world is blind to it, but we are not. I went to Tel Aviv in February of 2000 to change this course. I gave evidence in the court to stop the abuse of the Jews on Palestinians. But we cannot change. Now we change. It's not that we bring the end of the Israeli state or Jewish state. No, we elevate the soul of the children of Moses, that they will walk away from a state and become one. This is the, if you look into Rothschild family, they come from the same blood. Rothschild financed the establishment of the state of Israel from 1840s. They bought pieces of land to create this condition.
yes,
Because they knew it would be the cause of wars, that they can sell arms and therefore ever be, but it's finished. The term of the Rothschilds finished as much as the term of Jewish blood. Look, I understand what you're talking about, but we cannot stop. We cannot stop unless we elevate their souls. And that's the only way we see the change.
Well, may I ask you to consider, I've been studying with Professor Tiller, and he speaks of the unified field, focused conscious intent. It's like how the healing prayer declaration works. And I'm an example because of prayer healing of cancer, 2003, the death knell. So I asked for prayer, and yes, and so here I am.
What do you call a prayer?
Declaration, speaking, creating.
No, yes. But what is a prayer? Prayer is a concentration of fields of the soul of the man, or emotion of the man.
Precisely. Oh,
so
perfect.
Now, that's what it is. That's what a prayer is.
That's yes. And so that's how the healing comes about with the unified.
You see, you have to understand the science behind it. Then this healing and the power of healing and mysticism goes away. We are a scientific organization. We have to understand the science behind it. We are not a cult. We are not a religion. You have to understand what is the power of a prayer. Prayer is when you take a tablet vitamin D. In the essence of the life, you take a tablet of the fields of your own inner being directed. This is what man, especially with the teaching of today, should understand more of. You call it a prayer, I call it a tablet of energy.
Declaration.
No, it's not declaration. You release fields that you want to receive it. You cause the cancer. Now you release energies which become the remedy to that cancer by yourself. Or you take materials which brings that elevation. This is very simple. We have used the theology and never understood the science to hide, because we never understood the science of it, to make it a mysticism. Why do we pray? If we truly pray, if we truly devote, which means we take that tablet, we take that energy from us, we become that tablet of vitamin, whatever cancer. And this is what is the change we have to understand. So there is no healing prayers, and there is no meditation prayers, or whatever you call it. If you read them healing prayer, and while you're there you understand how much measure of what you have to put in it, Now you made the tablet. Where do you want to deliver it to? To yourself or to the others?
And that's why I think language is so inept. You know, it's just it's hard to for my words to be shifted into the understanding, because it's essentially.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever fallen in love at your age?
At 74?
Yeah. You never know. Some people think they have, and some people never, and some people say yes. How many times?
That's an interesting dynamic, because I'm a product of the MK Ultra paperclip mind control. So I'm having to.
No, I asked you a direct question.
Yes,
have you ever fallen in love?
I don't think so.
So how can I tell you how beautiful the sunshine is when you never seen the sun? Falling in love is that package of energies which opens one track, which is just giving. You become a sun, you radiate. But at the same time, underneath you're taking the intention of the lover, the intention of the lover. And that is a package, that's a disease. That needs a vitamin to cure it. And how do you cure from somebody who's in love? Let them understand, or show them a bigger love that they understand the love they have is nothing compared to that, the bigger love. This is why we always talk about the love of the Creator is so big. I was listening to a little tape was sent to me by Azar yesterday, and it's amazing. It's a 3-year-old, 4-year-old child in Farsi, and he says, let me explain to you God. And he says, X is less than Y, because Y is bigger, because it comes after X. So whatever you say, I tell you, X is man and Y is God. If you say 100, I say the biggest number is 100. I tell you, no, it's 101, because I can always give you a bigger number. You say 1,000, I say 1,100. If you say whatever 10,000, I can tell you is 10,500. So God is always bigger. And even doesn't matter, you think you have the bigger number, when you run into trouble, you say, God help me. You still go for that bigger number. This is what we are. We feel love, and love to us is a package of energy, is another tablet, is another vitamin, which we have found no cure for unless we face it with a bigger love. When a woman loves a man and then she's totally consumed by that love, if you show the love of the Creator, that love for another man has no meaning, because she has found a bigger love. Be it the same with a man. And this is what we have to understand. What amount, measure of feeling and emotion we can give on top of to elevate and create a new condition. Would that love change a cancer? Would that love change another man's life? Would that love bring a new dimension in life and existence, in another dominion and another position in the universe?
All right. Well, thank you. But segueing back to my original question, then how can your science then protect me and my beloveds from any of this that you say doesn't exist, the dark forces? And yet,
you see, I cannot protect you because you haven't understood what I said. It's you who decides and creates a line of connection. I want to receive this because I want to be open to it. we had a very beautiful situation when we were in Ghana. You've never seen more superstitious people than Ghanaian. And we had a strange condition. I went into the garden walking, and I found a lock key, a padlock, locked. I thought, that's strange. And then I found another one. I thought, how do these people, why do they throw their locks into the house, into the garden? I showed it to our driver. He said, this is the biggest curse. This is a bad lock. This is this and that. I spoke with the brother of Benjamin. And I said to him, what is this? He said, if you believe in it, it will touch you. If you don't believe in it, it's just another piece of metal on the land. And he said, I don't believe in it. It doesn't touch me because I don't make connection to it. I didn't say this to the driver. I said to him, what do you do with this when you have this? He said, there is a tradition, there's a special ritual you have to do. I said, I want to see the ritual. He said, no, Mr. Keshe, I cannot show you this. This is too bad. I said, I want to understand the culture. Why do you believe a padlock locks your life and you become, it's like a voodoo. He said, but I cannot do that. I cannot show you. I said, I want to see. I'm a knowledge seeker. He said, but you won't be offended. He said, but I'll take you to a point, but you cannot come any further. I said, okay, we go to a point. He drove around the city and he stopped. I said, where is this? He said, I'm going to get rid of the lock. I said, what are you going to do? Where are you going? He said, I cannot tell you this. I said, so I'm coming with you. He said, no, sit in the car, I tell you. I said, okay, what's the tradition? How do you get rid of this bad lock and bad eye? He said, I take the lock, that building is a public toilet, I have to urinate on it and then throw it in the toilet. And then, it's just nobody can touch you because now it's with the excrement. I thought, my God, how man has been locked into the belief and way of somebody else's thought to go wrong. And then when he came back into God, says, Mr. Keshe is finished. We have no more bad luck. No bad evil eyes on us. And he made me laugh. Nowadays, anybody says to me, I said, do you know where the toilet is? You understand?
Yes.
And, but you have to look, on the other side of the belief. When you walk the bridges of Western Europe, you see lovers lock a padlock on the bridge. How many bridges you passed around Europe that I think the weight of the padlocks on the bridge is more than the weight of the bridge itself. You understand?
Yes.
Why do we lock a padlock in the name of the love and we give a key? Each lover carries one key.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a way of believing. It's the same padlock. Most probably one went to Africa and one came to Europe. One is a sign of bad luck when you lock it, and one is a sign of love.
And then finally, just to the final question, I guess, is then why, with your efforts to stop what you perceive as Israeli aggression, why were they not successful?
We need the time. I told you have to change the totality. It's not just you have to go back into the culture. Islam is in a way an offspring of Judaism, Christianity, if you understand the background to it. And the claim to it has been there for a long time. The fight is over a mosque in Jerusalem, where Muhammad opened the first soul of his to the Creator. The Mosque of Aqsa, that's what it is. He was a merchant who, by traveling between Mecca and Medina and Palestine, saw these people believing in nothing. where in Mecca and Medina they were still worshipping statues. The time between Mecca and Medina and Palestine, when he was a merchant and he was working for Khadija, and then he became her husband, where he was a trustee as a merchant, he saw the nothingness of belief and a statue of belief. And few travels up and down between Mecca, Medina and Palestine is where he came to him. He can take this message of Creator, the God, to his people, that they don't need to worship a statue. And this is why that place is holy. So in a way, by seeing the Christians, seeing the Jews, he came to understand that there's more than what he was brought up to believe in the stones and whatever. And now we have this conflict. In a way, the process of Jews were not there. Jews were there originally, they were banished, and then they came back, and they should have learned from their process of banishment to be correct, to be kind. They took the reverse position of it. And they went for atrocities beyond. Jewish community should have learned what the Hitler did to them. What happened to them in West Europe, should have become kind, should have known that the wealth can run away at any time. It's the love of the man which stays. But they took the direction of the wealth because it's the habit of the Jews. And in so many ways, they never learned. And for this reason, now we elevate their souls, that there will be no land for the soul as the soul of the man, as the dominion of the universe. It's no use trying to stop the wars, because there are people who sell, and the pleasures of whatever they have, or the leadership of whatever they have. This is part of the process we're trying to change. And in a very short time, we change. I have put a proposal to the Americans, and the same to the Europeans, and is on the table with the Iranian leadership, that the 5+1 to become 5+2. The 5+1, by the Second World War order, Germans could have never been in anything to do with nuclear. Why are they at the sixth member on the 5 as a nuclear negotiation team, where by rights they have no need, they have no rights to be in nuclear. So they have used the economical power force of Germany into the 5+1 to put pressure on Iran. So I want to bring the Palestinians and the Israelis as 5+2. That allows us to solve the situation with the Middle East as part of the science and technology development. Anyway, we are walking away from 5+1 negotiation in the coming time. Because you can fight on crumbs, as I said before, and the nuclear doesn't exist, but it's open. What you wanted, now we open the doors, you come and we teach you, because we have a much stronger and more powerful technology. And we share it with the Chinese and the Russians. Americans want to come in. The 5+1 will collapse on the transformation of the knowledge and technology in exchange for peace. One of the reasons I returned to Iran is this, the new cornerstones, what we call of negotiation. We walk away from 5+1 because we don't believe in it, because first of all, we are a peaceful nation. I have requested the Embassy of Harmony of Iran to be the first signatory into the Keshe Foundation peace document, which means we commit Iran to peace, so we have no wars. We don't need to create nuclear wars. Instead of fighting, we leave it for them to fight the crumbs. We develop a new technology and science with the scientists from China, Russia, Iran, United States, India, and Brazil. And in that process, we change the condition. It's no use looking at what's happening into strips of Gaza today, because I watched it many times. I suffered with the Palestinians, and I listened to my cousins in New York. They say this is wrong, but how can we stop? The problem is, I have cousins on the Jewish side, and I have a blood on the other side. Either way, we lose. the understanding is to change the position. You cannot keep on fighting and discussing. You cannot discuss things with the people who don't understand. The problem with the Jewish state is the arrogance of the power which they don't have, and the condition they know they're so fragile with what they have. My biggest fear is that when we open these negotiations and we reach true peace in Middle East, the Palestinians don't do the stupidity that the Israelis done to them for past decades. They become gracious enough to forgive, but not to forget, and to establish a true state of Palestine, with both Jewish and Israelis to be the one. We're getting to that point. You have to, when you look at the new news broadcast and look at the news 5 years ago, now you see Palestinians under arm with the Israeli police officers together. Before, it was not allowed for the Palestinians to be in the Israeli army. The situation has changed because there are just about a fraction more Palestinians than the Jews in the state of Israel. The balance has changed, and you cannot have half of your nation not protecting the nation, if you understand. So the Jewish state is changing. Now we know the Netanyahu, who has been refused to establish a cabinet because he failed to, and he's got 2,000 fraud cases on him in the courts. So we have to see the new Israeli Prime Minister, which is going under 2 or 3 weeks to establish the new government, how he will enter peace negotiations with Iran on a 5+2 and away from this mayhem. We have, this is something which a lot of people don't understand, and the Iranians cannot explain this, and the Arabs cannot explain this to the world. The Islamic world have no problem with the Jewish religion and with Jewish people. They have a problem with the state of Zionist of Israel, which sees itself superior than the others. This is where the problem sits. You got to realize that the Palestine was there, a religion, Judaism came out of it. So Jews, original Jews, are Palestinians. And once we understand this, because this is not and has not been explained to the world in a very clear way, when we saw Ahmadinejad going and saying the end of the state of Israel, he is a Jew. Anybody with Nejad at the end, that are the Jews, which in 1920s, 1930s, when they came to Iran and started pressurizing the Jews, they changed their name and they put a Nejad in, and they're Iranians. So he is a Jewish blood, and we saw him every time. I come from the Jewish background. I know how they changed their names. We can trade. That's how the Jews knew who's Jew. My grandparents, my great-grandparents did this. And so he comes from a Jewish blood, Jewish descendant, and he's carrying their orders. His speeches to the United Nations was written in Tel Aviv, and he just read it. And he took his commission in the background. He has banned me from Iran because I opened his hand as a president. That's why he gave the name and the telephone numbers and the addresses of the Iranian nuclear physicists directly on the line. Who does that? Who is a lover of his nation, gives his top scientists away? So we understand the process, but it doesn't come back with conflict. It doesn't come back by revenge. It has to come by elevation and finding a proper solution for total population. This is the problem we have. And I've said to the Iranian leadership, Palestinian and Israeli situation, a state of, not the state of Palestine, but Palestine as a whole has to become a different point of discussion as part of the total peace of 5+1, because Iranians trying to support the Palestinians and the Syrians in the dimension of being Shias has given them this point. When the Americans support the Israelis, it's a superpower. When Iran stands behind the victims, it's a criminal offense. Terrorists now become better people. How many people have been killed by the United States in the past few years through their bombs? 20 million people. Americans have killed more since the Second World War in separate wars than ever killed in the Second World War. This is what we have to change. This is what I said, the guns have to go to silent. This is why the American arm manufacturing has to stop and be converted into development of new science and technology. And it's the same with the Western Europe. I have started my travels, and this is part of my work in the next few weeks till I return back to Europe. I am out to gather enough what we call energies, powers, that we can negotiate on a different way on my return to Tehran. We bring science and technology that the world don't understand. If we can show the Israelis we can stop any flight out of Tel Aviv, if we can show the Palestinians that they cannot shoot a single rocket, then they have to sit and talk. But these fences across Gaza Street has to come out. It's a power bank for very few Israelis who make millions out of Palestinians every 7 years. There has to be a fundamental solution for all over the world in these conditions. Palestine is not the only place. We have 2-3 hot spots like this. Cuba is the other one. It has to be resolved. And the same goes with Ukraine. We have to sort out the position with Ukraine to change, to bring understanding to the changes. We have the same thing with the border between India and China, the hotspot. We have to understand the blood doesn't change, but the line man has put on the floor. And this is part of change of the culture and elevation of the soul through what we call new technology. I worked on this for years, and now we are getting there. I'm very open. What I tell you is exactly what I discussed with the Iranian officials online, and with the British and the Americans the same, with the Chinese the same. Very soon you will see the collaboration between Chinese space people and the Iranians in the headquarters of the new, what we call, Sigru in Tehran. We change with technology. When you can go to China in 2 seconds, and when we can bring these new technologies, which I explain, you can transmute people from Beijing to Tehran in 2 seconds. How many people do you want me to transmute? Popular world leaders have to understand these imaginary lines have to go away. Somehow it takes 5 or 10 years gradually to build. We have to bring a lot of injustices back to correctness. We have to stop the poverties we have created by stealing on other nations to balance, then gradually. And at the same time, use the public platforms like televisions, like internet, to teach people to forgive, but not to forget. Because if they forget in a few years, they go back to it again. They remember what calamities they created, they won't change it. So nobody can become a leader to start another cycle, because we all have everything we want. Rome was not built in one day, and changing a man from millions of years of killing, it won't happen in 15 years of Keshe Foundation. We need a little bit more time. Any other question? Actually, by the way, Rome is very beautiful. When you look at it, I was there last Friday, and it's beautiful. It brings back a lot of beautiful memories. And thanks God it took a long time to build such a beautiful city.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe, and thank you, Ginger.
Thank you, Edwin.
We have Salamia would be next, and we have some questions in the Q&A and a couple of questions in the YouTube as well.
Do you want to read the YouTube or the Q&A?
Okay, well, we could do that first and get to Salamia after that, maybe to break things up a bit here. In the YouTube, Carpete asks, can you ask Mr. Keshe about the jinns that are talked about in the Quran and the role they play with humans. Jinns, I think, is the word, or is it
Jinn?
Genies or jinns?
Jinn. No, it's Jinn. Do we have anybody on the Islamic world who can explain to us what is a jinn? Or do you want to go to Wikipedia and read it? They call it nano-materials. Would you like to go? I think you'll find it in Wikipedia.
Is it with a J?
I think if it is the way you pronounce it, it sounds to me like it.
Let's see if I can find it here.
We call it jinn in the Quran, if I'm correct, is wrongdoers or evil forces, if I'm correct. If he's referring to this word. It's also anywhere around. These are the people who know this.
Arzar has her hand up here. We can let her talk, and she might be able to sort it out. I can't find the right spelling.
Good morning. You come from city of Qom, the center of Islamic religion.
Yes,
so
good morning.
You should go with it.
Good morning.
Anybody else?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. Good morning, everyone. Yes, because when I was growing up, Jinn is what my grandmother used to say. Like, for example, she used to say, when you wake up in the morning, and if a bad thought comes to your mind, it means Jinn is putting that thought to deviate you from Creator. So you don't grab on that thought. If it's a bad thought, you don't grab on that thought and you move away from it. Because Jinn every morning comes to fish and to drive you. And then what they say in Quran, they say when the man was created, one of the angels of the God was very jealous of what God created, because God said, I created man in the image of myself. So that angel was saying, why you created something out of clay, but you give it so much worship to it, as if is like you. So the God, that angel actually says, I'm going to work against you to drive man away from you. And this is my job on this planet Earth. That was what my grandmother told me. So Jinn was created. He used to be an angel, but he came out of heaven and became a bad angel in order to make man away from the Creator. That way prove to God that what you created is not like you. So you cannot say, I created the man in the image of myself. So that's what I understood from what my grandmother used to tell me.
Quite a long entry here, actually, in Wikipedia with Jinn, and it talks about.
It's not Jim. It's Jinn.
Well, it's mentioned here. Jinn is Arabic or Romanized as Jinn, or anglicized as genie. The broader meaning of spirit or demon, depending on source. And it mentions they're not innately evil nor innately good. Islam acknowledged spirits from other religions and was able to adapt spirits from other religions during its expansion. And it's not strictly an Islamic belief. They may represent several pagan beliefs integrated into Islam. So it's a
But it is like this, because there are some people, this is what I heard from my cousin, there are some people in Rome, for example, if you ask for something, like you have a wish, you say, I want to have this, or you ask for something really big. So the jinn can come appear to you and they can help you with that, but in return, they want something from you. So the intention is as I understood it from many people I heard, is never good. So they're not angels. They're opposite of angels. They want to deviate man from the Creator. So they were always on the opposite of the Creator, fighting to drive man to the opposite side. So my cousin was telling me, if you have a wish that's really very, very strong, that you want something in material world, the jinn can come appear to you and they can make your wish happen, but in return, you have to give something back to them, which is not of good. It means you have to drive yourself to their intention.
Right. Well, it mentions that they are held responsible for misfortune, possession, and diseases. However, the jinn are sometimes supportive and benevolent. So just because they're supportive and benevolent doesn't mean they don't want something in return as well, I suppose. Yeah, so...
You see, when God created the man, the God bowed to the man, and that was really bothered that angel, which was Jinn. That's why he decided to go against it, because he didn't want God to bow to man, because God said, I created the man in the image of myself, and man is me. And that angel didn't like it.
Yeah, but he didn't bow to the man. He granted the wishes of the man. The two different things.
Yes, Mr. Keshe.
Oh, God never bows to no one.
Mr. Keshe, while my microphone is open, I want to tell you about that question that Ginger had about what entity is. I think what you're saying is, as a field, if I can add to it, when you create a thought of something else exists, actually you create that. When she says there's bad entities, she creates that field, because every
that's exactly what we call the Jinn. The back end of the thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing, because in the duality, when we come to the world of planet Earth, you can create anything you want. It's the same thing with the Jinn too. If you say it, you can create it. Even it can come to you as an entity.
If you wish it, you can create anything.
If you wish it, you can create it.
Yeah. Okay, can you read that question, please? I think we answered the guy in Wikipedia. Rick, are you still there?
Yes. Sorry, what did you want read?
Said, I think we have answered the guy's question.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
In so many ways. Okay, what's the next question?
Okay.
It's amazing Wikipedia.
Let's see. We've got one other question in the YouTube, and then we'll get to Salamia, perhaps. Adam says there was a statement in the introductory video, I never promised you a heaven. That was in one of our in our introductory video. Now he asks, now what is heaven and the eternal life in relation to life in the universe or unicos?
Heaven is, as I explained in the beginning of the teaching of today, is nearness to knowledge of the Creator, which is limitless. And in a way, when we wish it and it's sincere enough, we reach it. I explained this too in a different way. You wish something, and a few days later, or sometimes later, or immediately happens. Or you receive your wish, or something you thought about manifests itself in one way or another to confirm or satisfy your wish. What is this? You can do the same. If you wish with the sincerity, the knowledge of the Creator, you'll receive it. You'll be enlightened. You wish for a car, something happens, you receive a car. You wish with sincerity through knowledge of the Creator, you receive it. And that's what we call a heaven. If the car is heaven to you to get a car, then that's your heaven in the matter state. But if you wish, the heaven is the closest to learn from its source. And that's what we call heaven. And then the rest is explanation of how you can reach it. Very, very few people reach that position because man is too entangled with the physical ownership. What's the next question?
Let Salamia go ahead next.
Yes, I am here. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello, all my friends, knowledge seekers. First of all, I want to share with you that I don't believe in evil because we have only light and the absence of light. And light is Mitra. Light is love and light is God, creator. I agree with Mr. Keshe that when you wish something, universe, the creator, answer to you. I was looking for knowledge like Mr. Keshe very kindly and generously offer us, and just came to me. My wish was to apply free conflict resolution to solve the conflict in between Israelis and Palestinians. And God sent me, and universe sent me Mr. Keshe, which is the best model on doing this on this earth. And I would like to help him and all knowledge seekers to achieve peace on this planet. And my question is related with this question. We know that Soul of Mitra came on this earth. And I hope from the bottom of my heart that the soul of humanity will be elevated as soon as possible. Question is, what we can do, knowledge seekers, all knowledge seekers, to try to speed this process, taking into account this context of conflicting interest and even war nowadays.
I don't understand.
So I think we can do at the soul level, but we have to do also in the physical level. This is my question. What we can do in the physical level together in the plasma level, at the soul level, I mean, to speed this process of elevation of humanity, of the elevation of the soul of humanity, because we need very, very badly this. Right now, we can't wait so long. Maybe we will not be in life, you and me and other knowledge seekers, and you know what I mean. Maybe you understood what I want to say. You already said during your exposal, but maybe we need all the knowledge seekers to do something in the physical life to create peace on this earth, not only by our examples, to be model of creating peace among us and within ourselves.
You see,
what to do?
Yeah. What I said to the knowledge seekers in the very recent past is that the Keshe Foundation up to now set the groundwork we built the foundation. Not the Keshe Foundation, but the foundation for a new science and technology. And with millions of people around listening or been or tried, or they have been and they moved away, but still keep in touch and come around, we have built a foundation for the knowledge. And we have been on a position of spreading the knowledge through different ways, teachings, internet, and everything else. And now the time has come to switch. That instead of being in a position that the governments can shut down your websites and pressurize you and whatever, intimidate you, now we move in a position of power, of sharing knowledge through technology. This is why when I said over a year ago, that I'm leaving the foundation work to the two ladies and the team they have created around them, is to concentrate on this side, to bring the Keshe Foundation in an international level, in the openness that no government can shut down. And in that process, through the knowledge and share of knowledge, with the support of the foundation we have set up amongst the knowledge seekers, we become a force to bring the change. And through it, to teach, to elevate a lot. A lot of people will come with the foundation, will start learning the Ganses, how to make nano-coating and the rest. But the intellect of those who is above that will jump into the understanding of the elevation of the soul and how to interact with the fields of the universe to create that condition. In a way, there's enough food for everyone to develop their ways and their according to their understanding. And this is what this is about. This is why I said a year ago, or I'm leaving the foundation in a way in the hand of the people, but to bring the foundation in an international level across the planet. This is one of the reasons I'm returning to Iran. Because as I said to the knowledge seekers, I've set up everything for you. You have your television, you have the structures, you have the factories, you have everything which a vertical operation needs to have. Now it needs to be brought out. We build it. Now it's time to open the door to let everybody in. It will not be done by the present world leaders. It has to come through the new science and technology and a change in that position. And we have taken the challenges, huge challenges up in Iran, because we have to set by the example. And then in that process, once we can show the massive changes in next 12 months and even sooner in Iran, then the others will follow. We set by example, and there is enough your knowledge seekers that every Thursday or every week we teach. When we explain this to you, you can deliver it. Your knowledge seekers become the center of the knowledge for the governments, your own nationals, your own structure to come to learn from. In a way, we have embedded you knowledge seekers as the seeds teachers to your own culture. I've done this very cleverly. In a way, if you look at it, Jalal, you have Arman, you have other people around the world, knowledge seekers, your addicts, that once we open up, you become the center of teaching. Your nationals, they need to understand, and you understand the language of both the science and then your national language that you can translate and transfer. So in next few weeks, when we take a new position, that's what it's for. To bring, but this time on the umbrella of a nation for the time being, and then on the nation of humanity, on the banner of the humanity. The whole structure, if you've seen in past few months, we were bombarded with all the negativity and everything which is wrong with everything we've done, because they realized we are about to break through, and they worked all their lifetime to stop this. The barrage of everything seen wrong with whatever I said, whatever we thought, but we are growing in numbers in a massive way, was to stop this change, because they were the agents of these nations, sleeping in the same bed. And now they've gone back to their own nation because they couldn't destroy anymore. Because they work for stopping humanity to progress as the agents of the devil is finished, as you call it, the Jinns. Now, my move into Iran is to bring the Keshe Foundation rapidly in one go into the international level, which now we work through governments to bring a new change for humanity. The biggest gain for the Keshe Foundation and the wishes of the knowledge seekers to create peace, to create the breakthrough, the knowledge will come with me going back to Iran in a position which we have accepted to elevate the knowledge of the Iran and through example throughout the world. And we have sown the seed of knowledge amongst all of you. Those knowledge seekers who've been around and you've been in different teachings and you've been around, you learn, you become the center point of teaching, conversing the knowledge you have to your, what you call, mother language people. Does not matter if you're an Arab in South America or in Palestine or in China. You speak Arabic, and Jalal with a beautiful language of Arabic can explain to you, and then converse it and change it, and then you understand it through the soul of the knowledge. When people like Wang Lin and Chao in China will translate this knowledge to the Chinese language, that they carry the love and knowledge of the essence to their people. We are on the verge of a huge change. And in a way, we had time to grow. We had time to understand. And now, in the next few weeks, moving around the world, we try to bring the structures which man has said, to bring the position to start the process in Iran. We are not there to start a revolution. We are there to start the evolution and evolving man to a new knowledge. And with it to show, with it to bring it, the showing of the hospital, what we call orphanage, in next 2 weeks, we'll show you, bring you home what this knowledge can do. And why mothers and fathers abandon children that they cannot physically handle because they are not there what they wanted. Every soul of the Creator is a love of Creator, not in a dimension of physicality. We abandon our children who are handicapped, and we abandon our old men and women on the streets and in old people's home the same. We abuse man during his maturity time. This has to stop. We cannot, by age of 65, and put man in a bin and you have no job, and then expect 7 years later to die. This has to finish. And this is what we're going to Iran for, to bring that change from the soul and the birthplace of Mitra. Where is the love of the Creator? And this process will change. We cannot hate no one. Is how much love they want to take from the love we give. It's them who put a barrier and a measure on the love, not us. They decide to put a line, this is how much I want to take, and then the rest I fight. Or I try to get. There is no line and limitation on the love of the Creator. So we give the knowledge. And on my return to Iran, this will take shape, where we give to the nations, we give to the individuals, and we open mankind into space, that there's a bigger dimension beyond, and there's a different life beyond. The most glorious time for me as a founder of the foundation, is when we can see there is no lines on this planet, imaginary. But we come to the rest. This is where I live, in that part of the world which is called India. But I'm not a nation. And then I live in the city of Delhi, or I live in the city of Tehran. And this is my home address, and this is the piece of land my body and my soul would like to stay in, with your code and address. Once we reach that point, we reach the point of maturity. Because next time when you're in the universe, you cannot send the letter Earth, India, blah, blah. You can only communicate with the soul of the man. And that is instantaneous. And this is the purpose of what is to come. What is to be. And we have to be aware of those who now, we will see a lot of it in the next few weeks, try to create a mayhem because they don't want to see the change. They know it's coming and they have no control. So let's discredit, let's destroy, let's do. We saw the Americans bringing the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers in Brazil yesterday down. Why? In the Portuguese language. Because they know now we are on the verge of coming up and sharing the knowledge and the peace. And this is not what they are there for. We saw the amount of bombardment across 3,000 entry in 9 months across the internet. And one of them, that's what I tell you, I was in Rome last Friday. You saw what it was written on it. Oh, he's a crook, he's got 10 years to go to prison, they are waiting to arrest. We welcome with open arm by the Italian officials. They create so much negativity that you believe them, because lying and cheating is part of their life. We are welcome with open arm by all the nations as knowledge seekers, because we bring prosperity, peace, and development. And this is where we stand, all of us. And I always say, I'm a knowledge seeker as much as you are. So try to understand, the change is about to come. Somebody's microphone is open. The change is about to come in a very big way. The biggest fear of the state of Israel is my return to Tehran. The biggest fear of the Americans and the British is for my return to Tehran to bring the beauty of the knowledge out of the land of Mitra. But I cannot be touched. I told the Israelis, you touch me, there will be nothing left of blood of Moses. And the Israeli rabbis know, and the Israeli government knows. The same with the others. We are messengers of peace and knowledge. You touch us, we know how to shower you with the love, that you drown in it yourself. We don't take revenge, we give you so much. You hung me on the cross, now I'm still walking. You try again. Next question.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Let's work on a couple of questions in the Q&A. One from Antonio, who asks, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Does the soul of Mithra ensoul our planet?
What?
Does the soul of Mithra put the soul into our planet, or instill the soul into the planet? I think is what he's asking.
I think you better go to some of the teaching in the past about Mitra. You heard about the Adam and Eve, and you heard about the apple. Now, with all the teachings we've done and I've explained before, try to understand. The apple is the love. which has poisoned the cycle of the creation, that you give everything for it, even your life. And man never understood the meaning of the apple which Eve gave to Adam, to the Creator. She showed him love and what it means to be loved, nothing else. That poison brought the Creator to madness, to understand what is. But the love and understanding of the love came from the creatures like man in loving a woman. So he created the Eve for him to be loved the way man loved the woman, and that woman loved the man, to feel the physicality of love. And that apple is love and nothing else. And this is why in mysticism they twist it and they turn it. But the beauty of it is, Mitra chose the earth as a beautiful planet, as a beautiful place to live, and brought the Creator to it to show the beauty of it and how men as a race fall in love. And that's what captured the Creator to the earth. And when you speak about the greatest sin, which when we say Adam took the apple from Eve, that was a touch of love, the beauty of it. And he killed him with it. He gives his life for that love, which Eve, what we call Mitra, has shown through the creation of the beauty of the land of Iban as the most beautiful place at the time of its creation. So when you speak about the apple, it's nothing but love, which the Creator took a bite of, and he killed him with it. It's poisoned with mad in his head and his blood and his body and existence. Any other question?
The question in YouTube that's come up from Ezra, who says, peace be upon you, Brother Keshe. Could you enlighten us further on the merits and meanings of the night of power, the 27th night of Ramadan, in light of plasma science? Does our galaxy meet its twin?
It's the process of understanding and medication. You got to understand that all the Muslims, in the true essence, are supposed to spend this month in understanding the essence of the creation and the Creator, which brings them to understand the love of the Creator. And then it's translated into mysticism and a lot of other things. When you gather a few people and they put their wishes together to do something, build something, and because it's for the best of it, they achieve it. Now you put 1 billion people who, if they are true believers and work and worship in that month of Ramadan, to truly live by what Muhammad bless his name said, yes, man truly becomes an angel. But then it has to become that point for man to grow. And in a way, if the true Muslims wish the true peace at the time, what they call 27 days, in a way, 7 billion can be changed. But the biggest problem is most of the Muslims in the time of Ramadan, they're thinking about the food, and some of those Western ones is the only time they don't drink alcohol, as we've seen many in the Western world, and everything else. And the minute I have to stop, when it's going to be the food and the rest of it, fasting has lost its essence of work. Any other question?
Thank you. Let's hear from SZ here in the Zoom. Or is it SZ?
Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly. Go ahead.
Sorry. I meant to say something about Jen. What Azar said is not correct. She confused Satan with
Excuse
Jen.
me, can you explain who you are, where you are from, please?
My name is Shahram.
From Australia.
Yes, I've spoken with
I
you.
know who you are. Yes,
Yeah.
now we know who you are.
Yeah. Okay. What she mentioned, she confused Jen with Satan. Satan in Farsi we call it Shaitan. That is the entity that basically the angel that refused to bow to human beings.
We read from the Wikipedia to make it very clear. Yes.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say something. It is a spiritual entities, and it can be bad or good. It's not necessarily bad. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Yes, it says the same thing in the Wikipedia when you read it. It depends, as I always say, it's bad for who and good for who. You understand?
Yes. I said it can be good or it can be bad, meaning, it can just like other human beings, have the potential to be bad or good. That's all I want.
Yeah, well, yes, I understand, but it depends. Bad for what and good for who? You understand? What is the
they're doing bad
thing
things
for me could be a good thing for somebody else.
Yes. If you want to look from that vantage point, yes. From different vantage points could be good. But what I meant was like what Satan is doing from point of view of a human being is not good, because it seduces human being to do bad things, to kill, to destroy, to do all kinds of bad stuff that we consider bad as human beings. Jinns are the same thing. They can be doing that, and also they can be doing the opposite. My knowledge of Jinn is very limited, but I wanted to just share that with you. They're spiritual entities.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Let's see, we've got Stephania and Kay and Jefferson still with hands up here. And let's try another one from the Q&A. From Antonio. Mr. Keshe, thank you for what you have done for the handicapped children. My question will be, is the GANs beneficial for those who have dementia as well? Looking at the other end of the spectrum, maybe for rest homes and care homes, perhaps. Would there be any plans for a test in that realm, perhaps? Not hearing you, Mr. Keshe. I'm not sure if you're trying to answer or just waiting.
Something happened.
Hi, Mr. Keshe. I see your microphone is open here, but we don't hear any sound coming from you. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Still can't hear you. Maybe you'll need to restart the Zoom. Okay, well, bear with us a minute here while we get Mr. Keshe back online. See, that's what happens when we talk about Jinn too much.
Yeah.
They are, what do they call, devious little devils.
You're right.
Well, I can read a comment from God's Eye View in YouTube, who says, I am surprised Mr. Keshe does not claim to know about the Jinn. I, for the longest, thought that Mr. Keshe was a Jinn. Go figure. Well, maybe that's what happened.
Interesting. What kind of stuff is that?
Well, I'm not sure what's going on. Usually we're able to reconnect quicker here, so it must be he's out of bandwidth or out of range, perhaps. We're not sure what part of the universe he's at.
Wow.
This particular time and space. He has a busy itinerary in the next month or so, I understand. Okay, well, I'm going to, while we wait for Mr. Keshe, while we patiently wait for Mr. Keshe, I'll read a few things from the chat, perhaps. Let me see, we have a paragraph from Jedi Simon about ownership. Ownership is the problem, he says. Possession and property is in fact a selfish desire which follows ignorance. Without desires, Jinn would be useless from a material point of view. So you created the thought forms to reach those goods. So you pay the ticket. Instrumental path enslaves. You shall find in contracts and pacts the seeds of property, but in reality you are part of the field, not the owner of the field. So you are, the fear that your ignorant position allows you to coagulate within yourself. Open up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now we hear you, Mr. Keshe. Yes.
Yes, sorry, we're on the secure channels and sometimes they play games.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Carry on, please.
Oh,
No, it's just that when the system goes up, you cannot do anything until it comes back on plan again. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me.
Yes, I'm starting to read the chat here in order to fill in time, so
No problem.
we're all good. Okay.
You're well trained after 8 years, you know how to play caps.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of dead air time except when we specifically ask for it. We had someone ask for 9 minutes of silence in the plasma group, which we tried. So
Do they work 9 minutes?
we went 9 minutes of silence to connect with each other without speaking and doing it in silence. And it's an experiment. Okay, we have what? Esed, are you done with your question
Oh,
or
yes.
comment? All right.
Oh, yes, of course I'm done. Yes.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Stefania, if you'd like to go next, that would be good.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Good afternoon, Mr. Keshe. I would like to make a question. It's come from me, not from Italian knowledge seekers. And the question is this. You always said that people who have fear of the problematic of today, for example, vaccination or viruses, is because they don't know the power of the plasma. And the same I think what you said with the genes now. So in reality, the power of the plasma, it's that we can, our wish is our command, so we can materialize everything we believe. So if I understood well, no, because at the moment there is a lot of fear around. This is what I found when I turn the TV and when I turn the mass media, even from the both sides, for who try with their goods to make goods without making aware people of what's happening, they can create fear. I make example, no? So some people, some doctor, they're standing up for the truth, and they said
let me stop you.
Yeah,
We are not going in there with the way things stand.
Okay,
in a way the things stand. We don't give a what we call YouTube the others for us to make a comment position. I make
it in a different way. So, but my point was, so we can. So there is nothing to have fear, basically, because we have a plasma inside us, and if we understand the law of the universe, there is nothing to have a fear. So this is my point. So if a bad doesn't exist, and we created, so there is nothing that can harm us unless we allow to. So this was my point. Is it correct to think like
maybe that's the way? We have to accept, we make the link to what we want. And then the path is set the way we want to think, and we set it up.
So if I believe, if my belief, it's that there is, I'm made of plasma, and there is plasma inside me, and the plasma is a part of the creator of the source, of this energy source, and the energy source is the strongest source of the universe, and because it's the strongest, the source, no one can damage the source or create problem to the source. So there is no problem. So if I connect to this source and I connect only to the goods, there is no problem. The problem disappears itself.
What if you have the plasma of a bus bearing down on you? Do you just stand there with no fear?
Sorry?
The plasma of a bus coming at you, do you stand there and not move? Because it's all one thing, it's all one plasma, it all comes from the source, no problem there?
Because it's very simple. It's very simple because I trust that I'm a part of the bigger picture. So I trust that the creators, I'm part of the creators. So I know that nothing will happen to me. So even this plasma of this bus, for example, landing on me, it will be part of something that I've created. So it means that I have no fear. Something that's supposed to happen, and I'm just gonna go into something else. I don't know. It's because if I believe that. Sorry, I hear a voice. I don't know.
It's it sounds like a background recording.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, even the bus, the plasma of the bus will be not a problem for me. If I consider there is not a problem.
So you wouldn't move?
Shall we send the asteroid?
Will be no problem with the asteroid.
You can handle a bus. Super Mojang. Super Mojang woman.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, perhaps we can hear from Kay next.
Hello, hi, can we hear me?
Loud and clear.
God bless. Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe, for this touching, beautiful teaching. As always, never stop mesmerizing with all these deep knowledge. I'm just wishing that we all catch up with it and get elevated as soon as possible. I've had a question for the soul child, but also before that, don't want to sound obsessed, but the thing about the gen that we were talking about, I've actually seen a photo in our house back home. We used to have a lot of gen, and one of my nephew, in particular, when he was 3 years, just 4 years, he's actually taken photo of it, and the gens are practically transparent. If anybody has seen the movie, I think it was called The Abyss, how the water.
But what about the
Ghostbusters?
shape?
No, not like that. It actually appears exactly like the structure that you used to see in the movie Abyss, how the water used to take shape, and you could see through the water, but yet you could see the shape of a particular creature that the abyss was creating. You could see it because the water is transparent, and the gen is absolutely transparent, but you can see the outline of the body of the gen. They go through everything, and he was always, and I think 2019 was the last time we were in Iran, because last year it was lockdown. We always go to Iran every summer. He still used to see them, and he actually plays with them in his room. He creates a particular fence inside his room where the gen comes there all the time, and he plays with them, the children gen. And one instant when he was 4 years, I think it was 2015, he's taken 13, 14 photos of this gen when he was downstairs playing in the basement. The gen, when he went upstairs, the gen, or ran upstairs, the gen followed him, crawling up the staircase, and he was taking photo from his iPad. And then somehow, when he informed his family, well, they were in our house actually, when he informed the family, actually, this is so emotional. My whole family were there in my mom's house. Then he said, I've seen Jen is following me and all that. And then Jen told him to wipe up those photos. The mother managed to get the last 2 photos off of his hand, so he didn't wipe it. In any case, I've managed to find this photo, and you can actually see the gen, the way it's crawling, and it has taken the shape of the marble of the stairs, which is coming from the basement to the ground floor. And you can see just before the last stairs, you can see the shape of the gen, the outline body, physicality of the gen, which has got more or less the color of the marble of the stone. I don't know how to share my camera. If Rick could be kind enough to tell me how to share my camera, I can show you one of the photos, and people can see actually gen exists.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we're talking about the fields. You put a name of gen on it. Does it do wrong?
No.
So he's a Parry. It can't be gen. You know, we have a gen and Parry.
Yes, we do.
Which is, yeah, so how do you know? How do you know it's a gen? It's what we call a gooder and a badder. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Actually, the gen is the one which my sister, who's a doctor, she has experienced it. But never mind about that. This is a Parry, as you say. They contact children, and certain children can always see this. Now that you refer to as a Parry, certain children.
Yeah, I remember these things from childhood, because we were brought up with it.
Yeah, in south of Iran is actually very, very heavily infested by gen, and they live coexisting with humanity, and a lot of humans don't even know they exist, and they do about their job, and humans get on with their life. But certain kids and certain children, which are even older, up until 15, 16 years, they still can see their eye frequency somehow catches it.
Can we go to something else? Yeah.
No, yes. I just wanted to to say that such a thing exists and there's evidence, photographic evidence. Anyhow, my question was, God bless, thank you. The child soul that you referred to earlier, I don't know, you might have explained it already, but I was taking my boy to school, so I might have missed a bit of it. Would we, as a mother and father, have to elevate our soul and learn in order to do that? Or is this going to happen by default through the love of Mitra, which is elevating the human soul as a whole? So would this happen naturally?
But up to now, man has created the children of physicality.
Yes.
From now on, man has the capability to create children of soul. It's a dimension of understanding, but in a way is the shape, or what I say, not the shape, but is the way mankind has chosen to create offsprings. We cannot go somewhere and say, this is how it's going to be done from now on, you don't do this and that'll be it. We have opened this option to create a perfect physicality. By creating the soul first, collectively, and then there's physicality to be created out of. The whole process is, when you make a bouquet, I explained this in detail to knowledge seekers before. When you have one flower in your hand, you just see one beauty. When you create a bouquet, you pick up from the best of the different flowers, or the best of one flower, but collectively. Then you have collection of all possibilities, the best of. You don't pick up a dead flower and a dead leaf and a dead branch to put in. You choose the best. And this is the job of the soul of the father and the mother, to do that in the level of the soul, to achieve, to attain the best fields which the universe creates at the strength of their soul, to put together in a way of a collective field that matches with the other, that leads to the creation of that child. The two bouquets in the essence of the fields. Now man has no choice. You create children out of the randomness of any physicality. Now you have a choice through the understanding the work of the soul to choose the best that fits the life of this position and the universe. Because you understand both. You don't need egg and sperm. You need understanding the essence of the soul to create in that womb of the mother. The children of the future will be very much different than what we see from now on. The children of the soul in the dimension of physicality, they shine. And we need to set one that it triggers the other. In a way, we need to have an example to be. And that process to be understood, and mankind will follow the same process. In a way, the knowledge is the example. So when you create the children of the soul, you created up to now children of physicality, will engage the soul that the soul could not. Now you create the children of the soul that they can create the condition of physicality anywhere in the universe. And that's a change. And you take the best from the universe, the best from the fields of the creator, not the randomness of the DNA and RNA. Then, in a way, the soul can take the RNA of any position in respect to the inertia field position. We have changed the position. This way, man, the fear of death, fear of mortality will go away unless he decides to put his soul into totality. There is no more randomness of when it is going to finish. I wait, and one day the bell rings and that's it, the heart stops and the lung doesn't work. In a way, man can move in different dimensions. This is how you become passengers of the universe. You choose in 1 million years, what do you call it, 1 million light years away, there is a star. You can make it 1 second travel the same dimension in the fields of the universe. This is what mankind needs to learn to change. He might learn it by tomorrow. It might take 1,000 years for man to mature to understand it. But we have laid the law. We have laid and we released the knowledge that's now the soul reaches that point of knowledge. In a way, it's not that you do not know. Now we have opened the door to the level of what we call the cupboard of the man to see the light. And any man and a woman can do the same from now on. But you have to understand how. And you have to understand it takes years to collect these souls. It's not just bang, bang, and that's it, as the man does in the physical life. The children of the soul of the man are perfect. Secondly, they don't need to go through this passage of birth tunnel, which creates from the first second of introducing the life to the outside world, but pain and suffering and the pressures and everything else, and a lot of handicapped conditions we see. One of the most beautiful things which I hope to achieve, because I've done this before in Tehran with this group of children, is to see how by elevating the soul, we'll see the physicality changes, the handicaps disappear. We had a child he was brought to me around February, 11 years old, 11 years old. The uncle helped the Keshe Foundation a lot with the computers. And the boy was mentally handicapped. In a way, retarded, as they call it. I knew what I can do with a child. I said to the mother and the father, prepare for him to go to a normal school. He was going to a handicap school. He was on a wheelchair as well. I said, prepare for him to go to school in September. They were shocked. They were surprised. I said, this child, what I see, I can do. And in July, in the handicap school he was going to, he had to sit for an exam that he can actually go to the proper school in September. And he passed the exam. And in September, he went to a normal school. He wasn't handicapped anymore. And it was an enormous amount of knowledge he carried. And I received a message from the mother a few months later that Mr. Keshe, he goes swimming on his own every day, walks from home to the swimming pool, and he started living like a gorgeous boy. I've done this a few times, and I know the power of the knowledge. And we have done this many times, even with the children who have been 14, 15, and never spoke, never did anything. And one day he asked his father, can you take me with a bicycle, with your motorcycle, to the mountains? And they could not believe that he could talk after 14 years. It took me less than 2 months. The beauty of this knowledge is not having the knowledge, is how to apply the knowledge. And we both know the knowledge and we know how to apply it. But it has to be in the essence of the receiver to receive it. If you speak to the gentleman who used to help a lot in Belgium with us, a beautiful man. In one of the Fridays meeting, a young girl, I've said this before, came in her early 20s, blind. And I said to her, I can make you see. Come back next week. I made a system and I just asked her, you have not seen anything. Do you want to go into darker space that the light, rapid light doesn't bother you? And we went with her and the gentleman, and I just placed the system, which was in the palm of my hand, on the back of her head. She said, I can see. I said, what do you want me to do? It's your decision. Do you want me to give you a sight back? She said, I want to think about it. I said, I'm giving you a vision back. You can see. After a few days, she came back in the next following Friday meeting. And she said, Mr. Keshe, I want to stay blind. I said, I knew, but I had to give you the choice. But I said, can you explain to us why you have taken the decision this way? I know the answer, but I want to hear. She said, I was never loved by my father. Since I became blind, my father gave me a lot of attention. And that's what I was missing. And I prefer to stay blind to have the love of the father. I said, the decision is yours. But I showed you, I can make you see. And she said, I could see clearly. We have the knowledge. We give the knowledge. But how you interpret it, how you apply it, when you change the knowledge to a technology. This is what is important. And if the soul which you want to change accepts the change, we have in the archives of the Keshe Foundation a woman with no brain. They took the whole of brain off. It's just the soul was left. If it would have gone a few millimeters out, the soul would have gone, should have been dead. A flat head, totally flat. When she came to me, and she said, I want to walk again. She was brought in a wheelchair. And in less than a month, I made her to walk. And it's all recorded. And this was a criminal offense in the eye of the criminal nation of Belgium. Making a woman who was in a wheelchair to walk again. In less than a month, with nurses and the people who were looking after her. I remember when I said to her, did you enjoy the walk? She said, did I walk? I showed her the video. She said, I can't remember walking, but she could see herself walking. My knowledge is unlimited. As I said, the officials in Tehran asked if you can bring one person coma out. We want to see. I said, give me 3 on the live television and I'll bring them back for you. Because we know the knowledge. We are not magicians. We know the structure. And now the cycle has moved to the next one. In moving up to now, we dealt with the physicality, now we deal with the soul. We deal with the creator, not the created. this will take a lot of understanding, and this is what I said all the time. We will not do magic. The time of raising the dead and doing this and that to create belief is gone. Now we teach the knowledge that you can do the same if you understand the knowledge. And once you cross the line and abuse the knowledge, you lose the capability and the power. As long as you serve, you gain. And the minute you abuse, you lose. And that's what I call the hell. Losing the knowledge of the Creator. And the children of the future, if man learns through the process of, instead of the physicality, through the process of the soul, these children will create a heaven out of planet Earth. Because they will only enjoy its beauty and only add to its beauty. As they don't need anything to live for. In a way, they have everything they wish they can create because they have access to the knowledge of the creation. This is where the change in technology comes, change in understanding of the knowledge and sciences. And as I said, I have 100 cases to change in Tehran and show that there is no physical condition. There are those who are totally deformities we cannot do, but we make them to live a perfect life. Doesn't mean we're going to change the twists and turns. If they wish, they do. But you will see, the reports in Tehran will come very soon. You will see it. I just received a message from Tehran. They're going there to go to the next step after 1 year to increase the rapid development. And most probably you'll hear in the recording from the officials next couple of weeks that, as we said before, they found their pride, they found their integrity, body has moved in the position of functioning. And the only way they could say it, because the number of the Pampers used has reduced by a huge percentage. When a man finds his integrity, when he finds one functionality, he can control himself. And the children have started doing that, and it's unusual for this center. They hardly ever had children who have moved out of Pampers, and are there from time of birth to maturity of 18 to go to the next institution. One could be coincident, 100 is not. And as I said to the Iranians officials, to the representative of Islamic Side of Iran, give me 3 dead bodies in coma. I'll give you 3 person back. But I don't do magic. I teach your doctors to do it. And you watch. And my condition was that every day, half an hour, Iran national television will show the progress. That to show the extent of the knowledge which Iran has achieved. Resurrection. Try to understand the technology. But first try to understand the science, that you can convert it to the technology. Then you create children of the soul, and you devote your life for centuries to bring them up, not decades. Child of the man matures in 9 years or 18 years. The children of the soul never mature, because the knowledge of the Creator has no ends, and the responsibility of the parents, the Creator of them, to teach them the knowledge of the Creator as they were taught.
Mr. Keshe, Doug had a question about the soul child. Does the soul child in the universe ever fly from the nest or fledge and live independently, but still have that eternal still have the eternal connection with the fields to its creator or parents.
Yes, of course. You know, it's become like the European children nowadays. It's so expensive that they are mature with the children, they still live at the mom's house. But with the soul children, they live because of the love they have and what they receive as a love, which is the knowledge and the beauty of the Creator. Shall we call it a day?
Well, you've had a good workout, that's for sure.
I think it was a marathon today. we run from the Creator to the created and see how many of us will be able to catch up. Thank you very much for today. It's, as I said, we are hoping to teach more in depth to understand, and for the knowledge seekers to understand the knowledge, not the technology. Then you're entangled in the dimension of physicality. Thank you very much for being here, and hopefully we'll see each other next week. And we add to knowledge a little bit more, and we learn from each other a little bit more. Thank you very much for today. Thank you very much, Rick, and the team in the background.
Okay, thank you once again, Mr. Keshe, for another Knowledge Seekers workshop here. Lovely one it was. And I'll remind people we have the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace coming up on Tuesday, May 18th of next week at that one's at 4 p.m. Central European Time, and people are welcome to meet with the Universal Council in that workshop. Okay, I don't think there's any other announcements. If people have further questions, they can carry them on till next week, and we'll see you all at that time. Thank you, and bye for now.
innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered, which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information. Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. KesheFoundation.org/donate.